Hi, welcome to DefXPod. I'm your host, Nitin Binhani, and I cover defense-related strategic and regional debates, focusing on South Asia. In today's episode, I'll highlight why the U.S. deep state is an enemy of India and why this hostility towards India has existed since the 1960s. Let's begin. First, what is the U.S. deep state? The U.S. deep state refers to a clandestine network of bureaucrats, primarily within the FBI and CIA, along with predominantly Democratic leftist politicians. This network allegedly collaborates with private entities such as George Soros, mainstream media outlets like CNN, Washington Post, and radical Islamist groups. Collectively, they are believed to wield significant power parallel to elected governments, often overriding the government agendas. It's important to note that in general, many Americans are friendly to India, and when I use the term U.S., it indicates the U.S. deep state and not the general public. Antipathy towards India within the U.S. deep state has persisted since the 1960s. This cabal seems unable to reconcile with India's steady emergence as a global superpower. Several incidents exemplify the U.S. deep state's hostility towards India. 1962 Indo-China War. Despite India's request for fighter jets, the U.S. provided only transport planes and radar systems, but no fighter jets, thus contributing to India's first and only military debacle. However, India later retaliated effectively in the 1967 Nathu La and Chola clashes and the 2020 Galwan Valley confrontation. Post-1962, the U.S. refusal to supply military equipment compelled the Indian Air Force, IAF, to acquire MiG-21 supersonic fighter jets from the Soviet Union, now Russia. This marked the beginning of India's reliance on Russia for military hardware, which continues to this day, with Russia supplying over 60% of India's military equipment. 1965 Indo-Pak War. The U.S. armed the Pakistan Air Force, PAF, with 120 F-86F Sabre fighter aircraft and 14 F-104 starfighters, significantly boosting its capabilities. However, Indian Air Force pilots, notably the Keillor brothers Trevor and Denzel, successfully countered this advantage, earning the Nat fighter the moniker Sabre Slayer, leading to a dramatic victory for India. 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. U.S. President Richard Nixon and his National Security Advisor, Henry Kissinger, adopted a pro-Pakistan stance, providing military aid and diplomatic support. U.S. broke its own arms ban on Pakistan and ensured Islamabad received air support from Islamic countries like Jordan. The U.S. even attempted to intimidate India by deploying its 7th Fleet to the Bay of Bengal. The Soviet Union's intervention with nuclear submarines and warships in the Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean deterred further U.S. and U.K. involvement. Silent on Bengalis' genocide. The U.S., often touted as a democracy champion, overlooked the genocide of Bengalis in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. Many now question India's 1971 intervention, considering the recent surge in Hindu persecution by Islamist extremists in Bangladesh. During the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan, despite congressional opposition, approved the sale of 40 F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan. These aircraft have been consistently used against India, a fact repeatedly highlighted by India to successive U.S. administrations, but to no avail. 1998 sanctions on nuclear tests. Following India's nuclear tests due to impending threat from nuclear-empowered China, the U.S.-led economic sanctions imposed by the Bill Clinton administration aimed to cripple India's economy. Russia, the U.K., and France, however, refrained from imposing similar sanctions. The Biden administration has proven to be particularly hostile towards India. In September 2022, it approved a $450 million package to modernize Pakistan's 75 F-16 fighter jets, disregarding Trump's suspension of aid to Pakistan for its support of the Afghan Taliban and Haqqani network. Despite India's strong protests, the Biden administration proceeded with the deal. Support for Khalistan separatists. The Biden administration continues to engage with American Sikhs, known for supporting secessionist campaigns to create Khalistan within India. Both the Biden and Trudeau governments openly support anti-India separatists under the guise of democracy, while hypocritically claiming friendship with India. The U.S. deep state shields and encourage Khalistani like Gurpatwant Singh Panun, a known terrorist wanted by India. It's an open secret that Panun is the agent of CIA. Delaying military hardware deliveries. General Electric, GE, has significantly delayed the delivery of F-404 jet engines for India's Tejas Light Combat Aircraft (LCA) Mk1 for 2 years now. The delays has raised concerns about the U.S.'s reliability as a defense supplier and its geopolitical motives. Military experts in India hint that the delays serve U.S. interests by destabilizing India's defense plans, particularly the threats coming from China and Pakistan. Bangladesh coup. The U.S. played a key role in the 2024 Bangladeshi coup. The ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had warned of a U.S.-led conspiracy to remove her and establish a U.S. military base on St. Martin Island in the Bay of Bengal by taking parts from Bangladesh and Myanmar. When Hasina declined, the U.S.-led coup was initiated to oust her and install the puppet Muhammad Yunus, a known friend of Obama, Hillary Clinton, and George Soros. The subsequent rise of Islamist extremism and persecution of Hindus with support from Yunus in Bangladesh is linked to this coup. Would Trump wage a war against this deep state? Donald Trump's recent condemnation of the violence in Bangladesh and his landslide victory in the U.S. elections offer hope for a potential U.S. counteroffensive against the deep state. The American public's growing awareness of the deep state's conspiracies could lead to significant changes in U.S. foreign policy, particularly towards India. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and if you found this episode insightful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others.